I begin the workshop by pulling a $20 bill out of my wallet. I have $20 to give away this afternoon. Who would like to persuade me to give it to them? This is real money and real life. After some polite laughter, a volunteer raises her hand. I walk over and wait. With an awkward smile, she makes small talk before explaining why she should get the $20. She needs a phone charger. She'll make a donation to UNICEF. She's going to buy me flowers. I believe you, I respond, if I do. And we wait. Now she isn't sure what to do. She's tried to persuade me, but I'm still holding the money. Eventually, I turn to the other people in the room. What has she not done yet? She didn't ask. You'd be surprised how often volunteers in this situation think that they've asked for the money when they haven't. And I don't part with it until they finally say, will you give me the $20 or can I have the money? Along with saying no, the easiest thing you can do to become more influential is just ask. Ask more often, ask more directly, and ask for more. People who ask for what they want get better grades, more raises and promotions, bigger job opportunities, and even more orgasms. This might seem obvious, but apparently it isn't. Most people don't realize how often they're not asking until they start asking more often. When our MBA course ends and students share the biggest thing they've learned after we've done so much together, the most common answer is just ask. The full realization comes from practice. What if you're not sure how to ask? Just ask the other person. Seriously. One of the simplest and most surprising influence hacks is that if you ask people how to influence them, they will often tell you. Most of us are reluctant to ask because we fundamentally misunderstand the psychology of asking and we underestimate our likelihood of success. In one series of experiments, employees were more likely to turn in mediocre work than to ask for deadline extensions, fearing their supervisor would think them incompetent if they asked for extra time. But they had it backward. Managers saw extension requests as a good sign of capability and motivation. In another series of experiments, Frank Flynn and Vanessa Bonds directed participants to go up to strangers and ask for a variety of favors, everything from filling out a 10-page questionnaire to escorting them across campus to a building that was hard to find. Before making the request, participants were invited to predict how many people they would have to ask before one of them said yes. Again and again, Flynn and Bonds found strangers were surprisingly willing to help. On average, they were 2 to 3 times more likely to grant favors than participants had expected. When we're the one making a request, like Judge Young at the Krispy Kreme, we tend to dwell on the obstacles, all the ways that saying yes could make the other person's life more difficult. The recipients of our requests, however, tend to focus on how hard it is to say no. By focusing on the cost of helping, requesters overlook its potential benefits. Neuroscientists have discovered that generosity can stimulate the brain's reward circuitry, triggering the dopamine rush of a helper's high. You know the feeling. You help somebody out, they're grateful, and you feel great. Multiple studies show that volunteers are happier and healthier than non-volunteers, and people tend to feel better about spending money on others than on themselves. This link between generosity and happiness runs deep and starts early. In one cute experiment, researchers coded the expressions of joy among toddlers receiving goldfish crackers or giving them away. They were glad to receive the tasty treats, even happier to give away goldfish from the researchers' supply, and most delighted of all to give away their own goldfish. We can't take the benefits of generosity for granted. They don't always outweigh the costs. But they're concrete enough that when we don't ask, we limit the potential joy in the world, and not just our own. If you're holding back from asking because you want to be liked, consider that you're not giving other people the chance to feel good about saying yes to you, and consider that more of them would like to say yes than you think. As we saw with the $20 bill, you may also need to ask more directly, because sometimes what you think is asking seems more like hinting. Norms about directness vary among genders, industries, and cultures, and they depend on the closeness of the relationship and the power dynamics of the situation. If you jump in and ask too directly, you might be considered rude. But if you're too indirect, your hopes and dreams will go unnoticed. No one can read your mind. The truth is, they're not even trying. Their minds are focused on their own hopes and dreams.